Hey Papas, this is Angel Clemens, Paparazzi Consultant 95127, also the owner of Touch by Angel Jewelry and Accessories.com, and the fearless leader of Clemens Crown Jewels. So today I'm coming to you with a brief video on what I consider a pop-up shop and how to have an effective pop-up shop. Now some people may say, well, what's a pop-up shop? Well, it is exactly what it is. It's where you take your jewelry and you pop up at a shop. And now, when I say pop up at a shop, I mean it could be something where you really did just pop up, or in most cases, you have already consulted the business owner and they have agreed to let you come into their facility to advertise your jewelry. So with that being the case, you need to be able to be effective and efficient in getting the jewelry out of the car into the shop, and then when it's time to set up the jewelry, and then when it's also time to break down the jewelry and to leave the facility. So you want to make it to where it only takes you 5 to 10 minutes once you're inside the shop to set up, have a effective display. Now, a lot of people don't go out and do the pop-up shops. You may have more vendor events, different things like that, where maybe a table is already provided, different things like that. With a pop-up shop, a lot of times you have to take pretty much everything you need, including the table, in a lot of cases. In some cases, you don't have to take your table. But what I like to do is go to jewelry salons, nail salons, bingo halls, churches, anywhere that will allow me to set up my jewelry and to display it for a couple of hours, okay? Usually it's not something where you're going to be there all day, but it's definitely something where, if there's enough traffic in and out, that you can have a significant turnout with selling your jewelry. So what I wanted to do is give you an idea of how I set up my pop-up shop and how quickly I get it in and out, and how I set it up and how I break it down. So I'm going to reposition my camera real quick and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so today I'm using my bed here in my office space to show you, and I'm using it as though it's my car. So if this was my car, normally my rolling display case is going to be in the trunk. I also have a traveling display case, as well as another small suitcase which holds all of my supplies that I may need for the event, okay? So when I get to the facility, and I park and everything, usually I try to get up close so that I can just sort of take it out the trunk and not have to go across the big parking lot or something like that. You always want to try to get it to where you are up front and close. So here is my rolling display case. This is as though it's coming right out of my trunk. This is exactly how I had it in the trunk. I position that there. I go ahead and put the top on. Get that locked into position. Okay. Then what I do, and I'm gonna just pull this up just a little bit there so you can see. Okay. Now on my rolling case, I have some rings. You can't really see them because I have the fringe on here, but they're just regular hook rings. And with those hook rings, I have attached to those S-hooks. So I have 4 rings across the top. Now this is just the standard size rolling luggage rack, if you will. I don't have the arms extended. They do have extendable arms, but I don't have those extended. In a lot of cases, once I extend the arms and different things like that, it takes up too much space when I'm in a pop-up shop. So I usually try to keep it at its base height and width, okay? So with that being the case, a lot of times with our display pegboards, as we know, you usually have them cut in half. So you have maybe one at the top, one at the bottom. So what I do, I pull out my first pegboard. Then I hook it to the ring. Now in this case, I'm using the 2 inner rings. I'm sorry, the 2 outer rings. And I just hook those right onto the pegboard, and they'll get on there. There, bam. Now at the bottom of the pegboard, I have 2 more S-hooks, okay? So I am able to take my second pegboard, and I don't have a lot of jewelry on here. Normally I do have a lot more, but I take the second hook and I put those right on there. Okay, and if you had your jewelry and this is how much you wanted to take, like I'm assuming that this was full, then if that's all you wanted, that's fine. In some cases, if you're in a facility where you have to be up against a wall, assuming that this is a wall now, they may only allow you to have that much space or something like that. Sometimes you might could be more to where you're turned like this, to where people would be able to see, like, say, a front side and a back side. And in that case, I would have 2 more pegboards, basically where I'm doing a back-to-back display. And with those other hooks, I add them right on here to this pegboard. Okay. And then I take the other one from this side and add it right on there as well. So now I have a back-to-back display, and at the same time, I have 2 more S-hooks at the bottom of this pegboard. And I just hook it right on to the bottom. Okay. So now I have my display case ready to go. And keep in mind I'm on carpet right now, so this is not moving as smooth as it normally would. But normally it's pretty much just rolls right into the facility that I'm going into. And for the most part, it's still not heavy. So if I have to lift it a little bit to maybe get it over a curb or up a step or something, it's not too bad. I do have some clips that I use sometimes to clip these like pegboards, the front and back together, just so they're not swaying so much, okay? But anyway, you don't have to have the clips, like I say, but you're able to move it around, and the jewelry will be moving. But with the J hooks, the jewelry usually is in place. It's not going to come off of the pegboard, okay? So the next thing I have is, and these all things would just be in my back seat normally. I have a small traveling table, okay? So assuming now that I'm in the facility and I'm getting ready to set up my shop, I go ahead and first thing is I put my table up. Now the legs on this table, they do extend, because if not, they'll be really, really short. And you can take them to another height as well. Oops. Okay. Then I go ahead and extend the other side. Okay. Then I just lock it in place, make sure it's locked in place. Then I turn it over. And bam, my table is set up, okay? So there, that's that. So in my traveling case that I have here, I keep all the things that I basically will need to set up my table. So in here, I have a tablecloth. And because this is such a small table, it's folded in half already. So once I unfold it this way, I just throw it over. Oops. Actually, I gotta unfold it all the way. There we go. And I throw it up there. And I drape it in the front so that, if I need to put stuff up under the table, I could do that as well. Also in my table, I have things such as my collapsible busts. I have trays. I have people of my signs so people know what I'm selling. Paparazzi $5 accessories. My ring display. I have tape. scissors. So this actual little suitcase, it holds quite a bit. It has a 3-pocket thing, and it holds, I have like a bracelet display if I need that. So just anything that I may need. I have my Paparazzi bags, as well as some pink organza bags. Did I say organza bags? Organza bags. I have business cards and just anything that I think I would need. Okay, so all that's in the bag. So the next thing I will do is my traveling display case. I'll get that set up on the table, pop it open it up. I have rings, but earrings and bracelets usually in my traveling display case. Then what I'll do is I get some signage out so that I can put my signs up. I have these little sign holders. I guess I'll call them display holders, and you know, you might put that up there, whatever. Usually I try to, even though I have the necklaces displayed here, just to sort of bring a little more to the table, I will use my collapsible bust, and I might put 2 or 4 or something just to sort of showcase certain pieces, or sometimes I'll, you know, maneuver the pieces around. So let's just say I'm showcasing a couple of pieces. So let me just grab a couple of necklaces off of here. And so I am putting those up here. So that people can sort of see how they'll drape on them, so they can get a more accurate description of how the jewelry may look on them. Also, I got my another everything's $5 sign, or I have my sign for Paparazzi Independent Consultant, so I'll put that one there. Okay. Then also, I have cards. You know, these little, now you can do it how you want to, but these actual little stands, they can double as a card holder, so you can sort of put some cards right there on there. Or sometimes I will just lay cards out on the table for people to be able to grab, just so that they are out there and people can see them. I will have my ring display usually here in the middle with several rings on it and different things like that. So you get an idea of how quick it is that you can do a pop-up shop. Now, in some cases, you may go somewhere where they don't want you to have a big display. They may not want you to bring in a rolling cart, or they may not want you to bring in this kind of display case because it sort of sits up. You know, maybe they don't want you to take too much space. Maybe they want you to have more of a flat table display. So with that being the case, if something like that happens, and sometimes it limits you a little bit on how much jewelry you can have out there when that's the case. But like I say, if they're giving you a free outlet to display your jewelry, hey, you do what you have to do. You know, you make it work, okay, even if it's not as much space. So, you know, I usually want to keep a sign or something up there, but say I couldn't have this display case up there. So how would I display this jewelry? So, like I say, sometimes you can still have the bust up there maybe, or if they just want you to have a flat table display. So you're not using the bust, you're not using anything that sits up off the table. Let me take this down real quick. What you can then use in a case like that, and like I said, you can still have your signage up there maybe, something like that. You can use trays. Now I have these silver trays from the Dollar Tree, $1 a piece, and I already put some jewelry on there so I can sort of show you what I'm doing. Like I may have bracelets and earrings on a tray, you know, and just have them all in there together, just so that people can, and I'll sort of give you a closer view, sort of see what you have, the different jewelry and everything. As far as necklaces and everything go, because like I say, now your space is a little more limited. Sorry, my camera twisted up. You can take your necklaces, you can lay them on the table. You know, you can put you a few necklaces out there on a table. You can still maybe have your rings displayed. Just whatever will work for you to make a nice little display so that you can have your jewelry seen. So that's basically how the pop-up shop goes, okay? So like I say, it depends on what works for you. Every location may be different. I've been fortunate enough to most times I'm able to use a table. I'm able to take my rolling display. I'm able to take my traveling display case, but that may not be all the time, so I have to be prepared for the just in case. And sometimes you go somewhere and one person may tell you, oh yeah, you can bring your stuff in, but then the day you actually go, if it's not that same day, there may be somebody else there that says something different. So you just have to go and roll with the punches, okay? So now, the breakdown. Once everything is done, what you didn't sell, and hopefully you sold a lot, but what you didn't sell, like necklaces, I put right back on my case if I have this here. I mean on my stand if I have this here. Okay. Bracelets and earrings would be in the display case normally. Like I said, if that's something that I have up. If not, I will usually put these in baggies until I get somewhere where I can get them back situated. Then I just start putting everything up. This, like I said, this little suitcase here, I'll put it right here on the table, and I'll just start loading my stuff up. And I usually have it pretty organized to where I know where everything goes, to where it all fits right back in its same spot. Sometimes people be like, oh, that's gonna fit in there? It does. Like I say, I bring enough, I take enough, just, you know, I don't try to stuff it or anything like that, but, you know, I try to make sure I have enough of the things that I need so that I can get in and get out. And be functional while I'm there. So you have to have what you need. The trays will fit in here. This was a tray in here, so the trays will slide in there. You have your bracelet case. You have your ring case. You got your cards. You got everything set up that you need. And as long as it zips up enough to where you can roll it, even if it's not zipped all the way, it's fine, okay? So that's that. Then I take and I fold up my tablecloth here. Put that in the bag. Tape dropped out. Put that in there. Move that out the way. Then I break my table down. The table has, and this table I bought from Walmart. They have some that were bigger, and I got a smaller one because, like I say, if I'm doing this on my own, I don't have nobody carrying it for me, so I will be carrying it myself. Sometimes if my husband goes out with me, then I have that extra hand. But most times he's at work, so when I'm doing these pop-up shops by myself, I have to be able to be functional. So I want to keep it relatively lightweight for myself. So it has these little red buttons. You push those, and it'll collapse the legs. You just go ahead and push the legs back down to their original height. Okay, then you fold that in, and then you push the other side. Put the legs back down. Then you fold that in. It has a small silver button on the side that I push, and then that folds the table inward. Oops, there. And it has a handle on it, so it's easy to just, you know, put up. Now we're back at the car, and we're putting everything back in the car. So once again, all of my cases I'm putting in, usually in the back seat. So I have my display case, I have my table, I have my suitcase, all of that's going in the back seat. Then I have to break down my rolling case. Now the way that I suggest doing it is breaking it down the same way you put it up in that order, okay? So in my trunk, I'll usually have, these are just pillowcases, and it's to cover the jewelry so that I can layer. And so I'll show you what I mean. So assuming once again that the bed is the trunk, I start at the bottom. I pop those right off. See how easy that was to come off? I lay that in the trunk. Make sure the jewelry's on there. Then I take one of the pillowcases and I lay it right over the jewelry. This keeps the jewelry from getting caught on each other. Then I start with the second one. Pop that up there. See how easy that came off? Lay that across the first layer. Get that jewelry set up. Pillowcase. Cover the jewelry so they don't get caught up in each other. Turn, if I did a double-sided display case, or sorry, rolling display, take the bottom off of that one, lay it there, pillowcase right across it, and then the top layer. And I thought I brought my other pillowcase in, but undoubtedly I left it in the trunk, but you get the idea. So the pillowcase will go over the top of this last layer as well. Okay, then I go ahead and disconnect my top portion of my luggage rack. See, that just popped right off. I lay that in like that. Then at the very end, whoops, I lay this in. And all this fits right in my trunk. My trunk is able to close. It's not bamming up against anything. And it really works. And that's really how I do a pop-up shop. Now, like I say, there's a lot of Facebook and YouTube videos of how to travel with your accessories. And like I said, if it works for you, use whatever works for you. This works for me. And like I say, you know, I will, you know, usually post a picture and say, hey, I'm here at XYZ location, come see me, whoop-de-woo, and I have gotten traffic that way. Now, this is one of probably a million ways to get your paparazzi jewelry sold. You may not be a person who wants to go out, who doesn't want to actually leave the house to sell the jewelry. You may want to continue to do Facebook Live parties, mystery hostess parties. You may want to do back office parties, whatever works for you. But I always say there's more than one way to skin a cat. And this is just one way that I'm skinning a cat. And I am planning to do several other videos so that this is part of a 7-day series, 7 videos in 7 days. And I hope you all got something from this, and that's basically it. Well, I just want to say thank you for watching. Happy blinging. And once again, my name is Angel Clemens, Paparazzi Consultant 95127, and Touch by Angel Jewelry and Accessories, as well as ClemensCrownJewels.com. Thank you. Bye-bye.